All right, I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another lesson. The name of this one is Division. And real quick, I watched the video, a clip, actually a short clip that brother sent me. And it pertains to Bishop General Nathaniel Nathanyalaga, whatever title he goes by at that particular moment. And pretty much he was going into, I believe he mentioned America being destroyed, if I'm not mistaken. And he mentioned being, it being the lake of fire, and the lake of fire being created by the missiles, and I was like wondering, because the caption the brother sent me, was about the IUIC teaching about an actual hell. But here it is, their leader is saying that the lake, because I believe he also mentioned that the lake of fire is hell itself, a place where you go burn forever. And Bishop Nathaniel said that the lake of fire is America on fire from the nuclear missiles. So there is a division there, even within their own teachings. Now, I don't know if Bishop Nathaniel teaches that there is a such thing as hell, and that the lake of fire is separate from that actual hell that they Roman Catholically teach. I know that's not a word, I just made it up, but it makes you you pretty much wonder, what's going on there, and why is there not unity in their teachings, and one of the scriptures the brother has sent me, which is a very good scripture, is in 1 Corinthians, the 1st chapter, that there should be no divisions among you. When there's divisions in the body cannot be sound. In order for the body to be sound, it has to work in unison, not in division, because when it works in division, it's working against itself, and eventually the machinery breaks down. So it makes you wonder, what's going on. It also says a nation divided against itself shall not stand. So even, so if they're teaching two different things, that means there's even a division in the doctrine in there. Now, the bishop could come back and do another video and say that there is an actual hell, which that's what they teach it now, which there's no such thing as an actual hell. That's a mythology in the Greek, and those are fables, which goes back to the word mythos. And this is why when the Apostle Peter was addressing those Israelite foreigners, he said that when we made known to you, I believe he said the death of Yahushai, I forget exactly how he put it. He said we didn't come to you with cunningly devised fables, because you had a lot of fables back then. You had a lot of false teachers back then that were putting different spins on the, living mystery and resurrection of Yahushai. I was also watching a video last night where the Apostle Tahar was speaking about, these different many groups that are around today. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but what it made me think of is how these same groups and these same factions that you have, of Hebrew Israelites, a bunch of different factions, was the same thing that was going on. Oh, he was going into false teachers, being false prophets, rising up among the people, so it made me think about that, because the same thing you see going on now was going on back then 2,000 years ago. And pretty much just like you had those different you have these different groups today that pick and choose what they want to teach based off of whatever doctrine they want to teach or whatever. That was the same thing that was going on back then. And this was prior to 70 AD, before the great destruction came. So there was a great division in the teaching. There was a great persecution against the church back then, against the true believers of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's just like it's happening right now. You see it happening right now. You know, just like back then, once that certain point came, 66 AD into 70 AD, that's when that great falling away came. And just like now, you know, there's about to be great falling away happening right now, called the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, and it's not a coincidence that all of these false doctrines and false prophets are rising up now teaching, you know, these false doctrines, just like they were doing back then. Now, I was just listening to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, I believe it was. And pretty much that's going into them fake preachers, these false teachers, these false leaders. And it said, towards the end of the chapter, it said that you have made, you know, pretty much you have made Israel to drink of that which you filed with your feet. And pretty much that is the doctrine that has been filed, because they stepped all over it. They took pieces and bits that they were suitable for them, added their own thing in it, and the ones that had the proper doctrine started muddying the water, so to speak, with other foreign doctrines that they're putting in there, you know. So there's going to be a great judgment coming, because it says in that same chapter, 2 Peter 2, that their judgment of a long time lingereth not, you know. So we're coming to that point, and there has to be a justification, you know, for bringing judgment. And that is a justification that they're teaching false doctrines, and the Lord is about to judge them. So don't be surprised if towards the end of this year, beginning of 2024, you know, that Jacob's trouble really kicks in and jumps off, because the stage is already set. You know, China's dropping the dollar, the US dollar, as they've been doing. You know, a lot of different nations are joining BRICS, you know, because their currency is more stable. You know, the dollar, it takes now $50 to $55. You know, I heard two different accounts of it, but the main one I heard was $55 to one of those BRIC, you know, BRIC currencies. You know, so shit's gonna get hard, and these false teachers are gonna be caught up right in the midst of it, just like those false teachers were caught knee deep in the time of Jacob's trouble, because the Lord ain't gonna protect them. Even the ones that know His name, if you're teaching the false doctrine, you're gonna fall under the category of the Matthew 7:21. Not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom, but they that do the will of my Father. You know. So we're about to enter some very interesting times, and I thought that was kind of strange how the bishop is teaching, you know, that the lake of fire is America being on fire from the nuclear missiles, but you have other members of the IUIC teaching about hell, the actual hell, that there's an actual place, there's a third hell, you know, where people go to burn forever, where their worm dieth not, this, that, and the other. And they don't understand it. They do err, not knowing the scriptures and the power of the Most High. You know, because that simply means, excuse me, that you won't be able to turn. You know, you won't be able to quench that fire. You can't put it out. You can't have helicopters and fire trucks coming with hoses to turn that fire out. You know, they're not going to be able to do it. It has to burn out on its own. You know, so, you know, I just thought that was pretty interesting. You know, I was just meditating on it, so I just kind of wanted to share, you know, a few thoughts on that. You know, that even within the IUIC, there's a division in their doctrine. But we'll see, because, you know, just like anything else, you know, they send out spies to watch the videos and then, you know, report back to Bishop Nathaniel, Nate, you know, what's being said out here. And if he addresses it and says, well, there's an actual hell, but the lake of fire is America burning, you know, from the nuclear missiles, then you know, we know for sure that they're all teaching that, but I believe they all teach that. But why is it that now Bishop Nathaniel is teaching that the lake of fire, you know, is America on fire from the missiles, but then his men are teaching that it's talking about hell, a place where you go burn forever? You know, there's a division there. You know, and if there's a division, you know, you can't stand in unity. If you can't stand in unity, it's going to break up. You know, so I just wanted to share those few thoughts with you brothers and a few sisters out there. So with that, I pray that y'all have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.